Hey guys, it's your international student guide here, and today I have a special guest, Anae Bain. She originally went to Taylor University, right, for her undergrad in chemistry, and she's currently now a PhD candidate, which is different from a student, and we'll get into that later in the video. And so I thought she'd be a great person to talk to in terms of applying for your PhD and what it entails, like what's the day-to-day routine, and just to get an overall view of being into a PhD program as an international. She's also from the Bahamas like I am. So yeah, welcome Anae.
Thank you for having me, Andy.
So I want to get in the practice of asking a few questions to my guests. So one is, what's your most memorable college experience? And then the second one would be like, if you could change one thing about your college experience, what would it be?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So my most memorable college experience. At my school, we had this thing called Silent Night, which was a basketball game.
Okay.
And we got to dress up as like whatever, kind of like Halloween. So you dress up for the last game, and me and my friend, my last year, dressed up as Barack and Michelle Obama.
Okay.
And so that was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, top two, not two.
Was there a prize or anything?
No, but like the best ones got on like YouTube and stuff like that. And we definitely on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everyone what happened to your finger?
Fun. I was sick with the flu, so a little bit delirious, and I was trying to.
I hope you don't get me sick, but you won't get into that.
I'm good now. And I was trying to open a bag of rice with a knife. Bad idea. And
So you sliced your finger off?
I sliced like 3/4 at the tip of my index finger.
So like.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I hope you make a swift recovery.
Same.
Okay. So back to the subject matter. If you could change one thing about your overall college experience, what would it be?
I would definitely change my major.
Your major. Wow. Why your major?
Something a little bit more lucrative. So engineering or computer science.
Have you tried coding?
So I actually take like a Java class now.
Hey?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I try to get into it honestly because it looks good in your resume.
Yeah. I've never programmed in Java, and honestly I've never bothered to learn because it's like one of the foundational programming language. Like you.
But is it not that useful?
No, I mean Java is very powerful. You can create any application using Java.
Okay.
Especially for like if you want to develop Android apps, then you can like use Java to develop it. But it's like, moral of the story is Java ain't for me. But like it's just a tool. Like it's a tool, and you have different tools for different things. You know, like there's not one better than the other. It's like which one is more appropriate for the task. So anyway, moving on. So tell us about like you applying for your PhD program at the University of Oklahoma. Was that the only university you applied to, and like what determined what school you applied to, and what ultimately made you choose the University of Oklahoma?
Good question.
Come on.
So I did undergrad in Upland, Indiana, which is one of the colder states. So when I was looking at grad schools, I was looking at southern states, so like Oklahoma, Tennessee, Georgia, and I think I applied to one school in Indiana. I don't remember I think I applied to maybe like 5 graduate programs. I remember I was so broke that semester because I would get paid and then I would apply for grad school because it's like everyone was like $100-something because international fees.
Yeah. Ooh. So
hurtful.
Okay, so did you visit any of the campuses?
Yeah. So if you get into a school, they either fly you or they give you back they give you back your money if you
reimburse you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So what was the question?
The process and
deciding
deciding
which school. So I remember I was on spring break, and at that point I got it into University of Tennessee and then University of Georgia. And I visited Tennessee, didn't visit Georgia, and I didn't really like the research that they had. And in my program, your PhD is based on the labs and the research that you're in.
Okay.
So I didn't like the research, and so I was just like, if I get into Oklahoma, which is like one of the last schools I applied to, honestly, I was like, if I get into Oklahoma, I'll just go there because I knew they had some research I was interested in. So that's how I ended up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what for your GRE exam, which is the what does it
Big
even
girl
mean?
SAT.
You're right. What does it mean? Like graduate research exam? I'm guessing something. I don't know. That's my guess for what it actually means. But like for your what's like the score, like the baseline score you would need to get into like a PhD program, and like how did you go about applying? Like,
Yeah. So I think I took my GRE in 2017 January.
okay.
And I believe it's out of 160 for English, math, and then you have I think it's out of 6 for your writing section. And so I know for physical sciences, you need to get a 158 out of 165 on the math section. And so that was mine. I aimed for that, and then I didn't really care about English.
So in other words, we have a genius among us.
It's not that difficult. It's mostly algebra based. So I took Calc 1 and Calc 2, and I dabbled in like differential equations in undergrad. So it wasn't anything that intense. It was more like rationale and reasoning.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't crazy, but I also got a tutor for the last 2 weeks before my GRE
Okay.
to kind of like reinforce like common stuff, you know what I mean?
Okay. Would you recommend others to get a tutor, or could you think they could do it without?
Get a tutor. I think that kind of helped. And then I had a friend who was doing her GRE too, and we would go back and forth like with questions and stuff like that, and even with our essays. And that was pretty helpful for me.
Okay. So I know there's a misconception that you have to obtain your master's first before you can go to your PhD. Could you like shed some light on that? Is that really true?
Definitely not true in STEM.
Okay.
Especially for
In STEM, or so that doesn't apply across the board, or is it just
across the board, I'd say no. But for sure, physical sciences, chemistry, obviously. I think like physics too. Also, I know from math as well, it's the same type of idea. But if you have a good enough GPA, for sure above a 3.5 with a lot of research too. But minimally, if you have above a 3 point, I'm pretty sure you can get into a straight PhD program from a bachelor's level. You just need to have research behind your belt as well.
okay?
And I think in a lot of undergrads now, research is mandatory to graduate. Because I know for me, I had to take, I believe, 6 research credit hours in order to graduate. So that's also very important.
Do you obtain your master's throughout the process?
Yeah, so part of your candidacy requirements, once you finish your candidacy, which differs from schools and states, you technically have your master's under your belt as well.
Okay.
So
what's candidacy compared to being a student?
Yeah, so you can get into a PhD program, but you're not fully admitted into it until you finish your candidacy requirements. So you almost like a
trial period type of thing?
I don't want to say a trial because you're definitely doing the work to become a PhD, well, a doctor, right? Preliminary student. We'll see how we like you. I guess. But yeah, so the difference between different schools, but usually it requires you passing some sort of examinations, like comps. But it differs from different schools, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you passed this exam?
Yes, I have.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. A lot
and
of
you have
tears.
your master's as well?
I technically have my master's, yes.
Awesome. Nice. So if you really wanted to drop out.
I always say I have 2 degrees.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So,
nice.
yeah.
So I mean that's great news for a lot. I mean personally for me, I thought I always had to get my master's first before I can go into my PhD. So I mean that's something that you should consider when you're applying for grad schools and figuring out what program that you want to go to.
Another big thing, sorry to cut you off.
No, go for it.
But yeah, when you're doing graduate school, you usually can get a full assistantship or a full stipend if you're doing a straight doctor program. But if you can find a master's level program, you usually don't get as much money. So I know one of my good friends, she did her master's then her PhD, but in psychology. And when she did her master's, she still had to pay a little bit out of pocket because she couldn't get a full assistantship with a master's level.
So what is an assistantship?
An assistantship is a way for you to pay your bills. You can either be a graduate assistant or a teaching assistant.
Okay.
So a teaching assistant for me entails you either co-lecture or you teach some type of recitation or something like that, versus an assistantship, a graduate assistantship, is where ideally your PI or the school pays you directly, so you get paid for the research that you do.
Okay, so they pay for your tuition and they pay you some kind of either stipend or reimbursement.
Right.
Nice. So how much, like, in terms of tuition? So they cover the tuition and the fees are what you pay.
Right. So
how much is the fees, like per semester basis?
Yeah. So it depends on your major for sure. But for me, I pay about $1,500 a semester, and that's just fees. I have a full tuition waiver.
Nice. So that's a lot cheaper than what I had to pay for undergrad. And so like that's one thing that we'll definitely talk about more is like how to go through your college experience without having to pay so much. There are other programs even for your undergrad that you can go like tuition free where they actually pay you and you have no balances to pay off. But it's for a different session. So like what's on a day-to-day basis, what does it entail for you, like in terms of research and teaching? Which one do you do, or do you do both?
You usually do both. I know, at least for my program at Oklahoma, that's what you do. When I was a teaching assistant, I think I had to teach 2 recitations a week and then labs included. So if you had a good schedule, you have to work maybe 2 days out of the week where you have to teach undergraduates. And then the rest of the time you just spend doing your research.
Okay. And how long are your work hours?
So now I'm just on RA, so I don't teach at all. And so I usually do from 9:30 a.m. until like 9-ish p.m. But I take a lot of breaks. I eat lunch at my desk, but I usually leave for like 3 hours for like gym and dinner and stuff like that.
Put that work in.
Yeah, so that's my Monday to Friday. And then I do like 5 or 6 hours on a Saturday. And then Sundays.
Weekends too.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Do you get to travel a lot? Like being on a program, are they flexible and open in terms of your personal life and what you could do outside of work, or they may be, but you are conscious of it because of like your candidacy and you don't want to really violate, I wouldn't say violate, but really like push it and like have a bad name for yourself, like you care about
your reputation.
I
see what you're saying. Every program is different, every lab is different, every PI is different.
Okay.
My PI doesn't care what you do as long as you get the work done.
Okay.
So at the end of the week, if he gives me such and such a deadline, once the deadline is completed, then he's fine. But that's just my PI. I also work a lot, obviously.
Yeah, she's a hard worker.
So like I went home for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Can't tell me nothing because I'm always working.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it just depends on your PI, honestly, and your program.
And PI means?
Principal investigator.
Principal investigator?
So he or she is basically the prof you work under. It's kind of like your advisor, but more direct for your graduate program. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Excuse the heater, air conditioner that just came on.
My apologies.
Very good. If you guys if you did enjoy the video, please hit that like and subscribe video. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure to ring the bell. That way you'll be notified of all of the latest updates. Please comment down below things that you might want me to do differently or include in upcoming videos with a featured guest. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks.